Yo, yo, yo. What is going on, everybody? It is great to have you with me. It'd be greater if the Vikings actually had a victory yesterday or 2 weeks ago or at any point in time except for the Carolina Panthers. Wow. This team, I don't even know what to say about them anymore. I mean, we can talk about the turnovers? Boy, we haven't talked about that in a while. Oh, wait. We talk about it every week. Oh, wait. We can talk about the defense doing what it can with the talent level that it has, but ultimately not enough. Oh, sure, Kirk. We can talk about him if we really want to, although, the Kirk stands, unless you say something, unless everything is positive, you're a hater and you're not allowed to say anything. I'm certainly not saying that Kirk is the reason they lost yesterday. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But let's not pretend that he had opportunities that he didn't take advantage of, because he did. Absolutely, he did. We can talk about the running game, which is mediocre at best, or we can just talk about the fact that the season is on the brink after 5 weeks. After 5 weeks, the season's on the brink. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Just think about that. Let's give some shout-outs here. T-Bass in the building. Been watching sports a long time. I can tell you KOC's lost the locker room. I don't know about that. Players are going out there. They just don't care. We have Richie Cunningham for a head coach. If we do a total rebuild, need a coach, provide leadership, do you think KOC is that guy? You don't? Didn't really think so last year either. Okay. I'm going to start this and come back to it. That's some good questions and some good thoughts by T-Bass there. Shout out Grandpa Dave in the building. After the show, if you didn't catch Dave and Tyler on Vikings First and SKOL, go check them out. And by the way, subscribe to that channel. Subscribe to Vikings First and SKOL on all your favorite podcast aggregators, whether that be iTunes, Spotify, or whatever else there is out there. Those are the only two I know. So that kid in the building, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. SKOL Mafia, Purple Gang. I don't even know what to say about this anymore. You gonna tell me I'm late because I was 8:15 and 30 seconds. All right, I hear you. SKOL for Life Barber 1975 is in the house. What is going on? Oh, Jordan Love just got picked off. Okay, didn't the Raiders just scored and they got the ball back? All right, SKOL Raiders. We all know that. SKOL Raiders. Roger's in the building. What's up, Roger? Good to see you. I appreciate all you guys. I honestly do. I really do. Dave Thibodeau in the building. What's going on, Dave? So we got at least 2 Daves. We'll see if Ditter gets in here. Oh, he called it. KOC and Quasey got to go is the dumbest thing we could possibly consider. Get a quarterback. You know what? I'm going to save yours too, because I got some thoughts on it. So I'm going to give both of you guys an answer at the same time. What up, Purple Gang? My guy, Purple Pocket Podcast, rap in the building. There's always next year. We 5 weeks into the season. We already talking about next year. How pathetic and sad is that? It's ridiculous. 6 shooter. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for stopping by. Drop Shot Jake is in the building. What's up, everyone? Mike was on the pod with Rick Sosa last night. And Mike said he's willing to trade Kirk to Atlanta. And Rick hit him with the old reliable JJ is the ball and chain to Kirk Cousins. Rick Sosa can go bleep himself. He's an idiot. You want to know what's funny? 2 years ago, when I actually met the guy, he was a totally different dude than he is now. And he was a middle Kirk person like I am, where he's good, not great, and we shouldn't extend him beyond the contract we originally had. Now he's up his ass. Whatever. Hey, Chad, what's going on? Appreciate you. Yes, that'd be good. All right, we got to cut the music. Y'all know how I start. After I get done shouting all you guys out. You know how it goes. Historic draft pass. Let's have them go. Absolutely. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you all know how I start my show. I shout out you guys, and I shout out a couple groups of people. and that is the active and veteran members of our military, as well as their families who have sacrificed so that we have the freedoms that we have. To talk on YouTube about our team, as pathetic as they are, they still fought for that freedom. To the brave men and women who are police officers, firefighters, and EMS, who in times of tragedy put their lives on the line by running towards the danger to help the rest of us get away from it. To the doctors, nurses, surgeons, frontline workers, home health care providers, that in our desperate times of need, when we need help and cannot help ourselves, you are there for us. I shout out these groups of men and women at the beginning of each of my shows, or relatively close to the beginning, because they at times work thankless jobs. They will not go thankless from me. And that's not me grandstanding. And I'm sick of people saying, why you say that every show? Why not? Why the hell not? To say thank you for people who do such amazing jobs and amazing work, and it's sometimes thankless. You're asking me why I'm saying thank you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I really don't. But that's all right. What's up, Greg, in the building? GMAX72. Oh, good to see you, man. I'm good to see you. Skull TYA. What's up, Curtis? I'm setting up your channel. All right, Curtis. You better be ready, Skull TYA. And you know what? We'll have you on whatever channel you want. You can come on my channel to get you started, Dave, Yogi, Rap, anybody you want. One Bar, I'm sure they'll do it. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. You want to know how disgusted I am with the Vikings right now? If they're going to give us that kind of piss poor effort, and I say that in the context because, yes, they were one touchdown short of the world champions in their own building. Okay. But they had opportunities to not be down by a score. They had opportunities that they didn't take full advantage of. So at the end of the day, for me, this whole season, they have been unprepared. They have not executed. And to a certain extent, yes, I understand that. Well, if the coach is calling the right plays and the players are not executing those plays, can it really be coaching? I can listen to that for a game or two, but 5 games, and no, Carolina really doesn't freaking count. The offense scored 2 touchdowns, and oh, by the way, gave up 1. 2 touchdowns against the god-awful Carolina Panthers, who, by the way, got destroyed by the Lions. The Lions did what the hell they're supposed to do. 42-24. Okay? They ran up the score. 7 touchdowns in that game. We could get 2. And we trying to talk about, oh, we put in the effort. We got a victory. We got 1 victory this year over the winless Panthers. Big bleeping deal. That's what I say. You can say that we got competitors on this team, guys that want to win. Well, that's all well and good. I want a weekend in Vegas. I want a weekend in Vegas with, Travis Kelce's girlfriend, even though she's not his girlfriend, whatever the fuck. Okay. I want a weekend in Vegas with, Kate Upton or Alicia Cuthbert or Alicia Keys or Beyonce. That's what I want. And guess what? Ain't none of those things happening. So you guys can talk about how you're competitive and you want to win. You ain't winning. You ain't won jack shit this year. You ain't won a damn thing. 1 game against Carolina. Oh, we just got a couple things to figure out. No, you got a couple dozen things to figure out. I said it in week 1. KOC did not have the team prepared. You're not prepared, and you didn't have a requisite effort against Tampa Bay. You came back from down, what was it, 27-14 or something, whatever it was against Philly. You were down multiple scores, and you kept getting close, and then you ended up not having any chance to win that game. I did it again. The Los Angeles Chargers, you couldn't touch Justin Herbert. You tried, and you couldn't. You couldn't get to him. Blitzed him all day. So, yes, you have 1 victory over a garbage team starting a rookie quarterback. Hang the freaking banner. Congratulations. So here's what I'm going to say. I don't fully agree with T-Bass to say that we need to get rid of him. And I'm talking about Kevin O'Connell here. I don't fully agree with Ditter either when he says, hey, all right, I don't know why that's don't know why there's a delay there. All right. If we do a total rebuild, we need to get rid of the coach. Getting rid of the coach is the dumbest idea ever. See, I'm in the middle of you two. Okay. I think that Kevin O'Connell next year should absolutely be on the hot seat. And that's unfortunate for him because he didn't get his honeymoon period. Usually, when you fire a coach and bring in a new guy, your expectation level is 6 or 7 wins first year and maybe 9 wins the second year. You usually get 3 years, maybe even 4. But winning 13 games might not have been the best thing for Kevin O'Connell because now his honeymoon period is shot. Let me take you back in time, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all remember the movie White Men Can't Jump with Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, and Rosie Perez? Rosie Perez's character, Gloria, and Woody Harrelson's character, Billy, they were dating each other. And Rosie was trying to get through to Billy so much because he didn't get it. He just didn't get it. And Rosie says, sometimes when you win, you really lose. And sometimes when you lose, you really win. Kevin O'Connell won a lot of games last year, but he's really losing because he lost out on what is left of his honeymoon period. Because if you show your bosses right out the gate that you can win that many games, then it becomes the expectation. You know, sometimes when you win in the short term, but you lose in the long term. And sometimes when you lose in the short term, you win in the long term. I don't know why there are some in this fan base that don't see that losing in the short term is better for the long term. I say short-term pains for long-term gains. I'm not saying tank. I'm not. Tanking is literally getting rid of everybody beyond the age of 24. Tanking would be trading Justin Jefferson. I have zero interest in that. But trading pending free agents like, I don't know, Daniil Hunter and KJ Osborne and Ezra Cleveland. And if you can get anything for Harrison Smith, which I doubt because he's got 2 more years and a bloated contract because Rick Spielman had to reward him. And I'm not saying anything bad about Harrison Smith. I'm just saying it was a bad business decision. And dare I say Kirk Cousins. And I know people say, we'll be horrible with Kirk Cousins. We horrible with Kirk Cousins, much less without Kirk Cousins. So what the hell is the difference? You want to know what the difference is? I'd rather be horrible because Jaron Hall is getting an audition for the last part of the season to see if we have anything with him. Because Jaron Hall's not thrown a single pass to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Maybe Jordan Addison in a couple practices, but here's my point. Here is my overall point. This team's going nowhere. And I know that's tough to hear for some people. This team's going nowhere. This season is garbage. And it sucks, royal goat dick, to say that 5 weeks into the season. I'm not listening to anybody. I don't care if they're a coach. I don't care if they're a player. I don't care if they're a content creator. I don't care who you are. I'm not finna listen to this bullshit that the Vikings just need to fix a couple things and we can turn this season around. If y'all say I'm negative, fine, I'm negative. No, I'm realistic. 1 win against Carolina. And before Justin Jefferson got hurt, I said last week, you cannot call the Chicago Bears game next week a gimme because the Bears are starting to figure some stuff out. I'm not saying that they're on the fast track to the division or the fast track to a wild card spot, but Justin Fields was tearing it up last Thursday night. And speaking of that, then they had the mini bye week. So they've had 3 more days of rest than we'll have. And by the way, the Dick Butkus thing, that's going to be their first game with Dick Butkus. So they're going to do the ceremonies, the moment of silence, the remembrance, and all those wonderful things. And that's great. I got nothing against that. But what I am saying is the Bears are going to throw everything at us. I mean, they were going to throw everything at us anyway, but they're really going to throw everything at us now. So I'm not even saying, but here's the thing. You're going to get mollywopped by San Francisco. And if anybody, I was talking to Dave in the offseason, the Vikings will be the 2 seed. We're going to beat San Francisco, and that'll be the tiebreaker. Get the fuck out of here. I love you. It's like arguing with your uncle. At the end of the day, you guys can get into a knockdown, drag out discussion or argument, and at the end of the day, you still love each other because you're family. And so I'm just saying, I said it at the time, their offensive line and defensive lines are the best in the league, and they're just destroying people. I had Philly 1, I had Philly 1, San Francisco 2, and I had Dallas 3. Again, San Francisco hasn't even been close to losing a game, have they? All I'm saying is they just destroyed Dallas, and they are going to destroy us 3 times over. And if you think that, oh, Justin, why are you being so negative? Any given Sunday, any team can beat any other team. Congratulations. If you want to play those odds, go right ahead. If you actually think that if we beat the Bears and then lose to the San Francisco 49ers and are 2-5 coming into what was the easy part of our schedule on paper. Oh, we got Green Bay, and then we got Atlanta, and then we got New Orleans, and then we got Denver, and then we got Chicago. We should be 4-1 or 5-0 in those games. Yeah, that's what I said in the offseason, that they should be 4-1 or 5-0 in that stretch. I had them going 3-4 in the first stretch, 4-1. That takes you to 7-5 at the bye week. Okay. And then split with Las Vegas and Cincinnati. That takes you to 8-6. And then you got those last 3 games, 2 against Detroit, 1 against Green Bay. I figured you win 2 out of those 3. Okay. That was before we saw this team get on the football field and stink up the joint. They stink. They're terrible. No, it's just bad luck. No, you don't have this many turnovers and just say it's bad luck, ladies and gentlemen. No, it's not. It's not just bad luck. And that gets back to KOC. You done turned the ball over, 12 times in 5 games. Before yesterday, you had 0 points in the first quarter through 4 games. Now you got 3 points in the first quarter through 5 games. Congratulations. We sure are fixing things, aren't we? Oh, yeah. First play of the game. What did I say in all my previews? The Thursday episode, the Saturday Taylor Swift episode, the Saturday Vikings First and SKOL podcast feed. You have to be damn near perfect to beat Patrick Mahomes. He is Michael Jordan. If you want to say that Tom Brady was Magic Johnson or Larry Bird or a combination thereof, that's fine. Patrick Mahomes is Michael Jordan. And when you have Michael Jordan and you're trying to beat him, you need to be damn near perfect. And there can be games. The defense outside of a couple plays did pretty good. I'm not saying they were great. But if you had told me the Chiefs were going to score 27 points, yeah, we would have taken that. Versus door number 2, where maybe it's 24, maybe it's 34 or 38. We all would have taken 27 points. Now, let me be clear. If the Vikings had tied up that game, Patrick Mahomes would have had about 3 minutes left, and they wouldn't have just taken the ball trying to get first downs to run out the clock. So let's not talk about, the refs screwed us. The refs had a couple bad calls. We're a little bit inconsistent. The refs are nowhere close to the top of the reason we lost that game. We lost that game because we fumbled on the first goddamn play. We lost that game because our wonderful head coach twice settled for field goals. The first one, let's get some points on the board. Okay, I can listen to that the first time. The second time, hell no. You kicking field goals against Patrick Mahomes. And then you're shocked that you're down by 14 in the fourth quarter. And then you're shocked that you got 1 touchdown but couldn't get the next one because, you know what? You give yourself no margin for error. That is the theme with this team. For years, they give themselves absolutely no margin for error. And you kick 2 field goals in the first half. I don't care that you took the lead. I don't care. You can't kick field goals. I said that 5 times between all my preview shows. You kicking field goals, you might as well just, take a knee on 4th down. I mean, obviously you don't. But my point is that they're damn near meaningless. Okay? Kicking field goals against Patrick Mahomes. Recipe for disaster. And you know what? Outside of that crazy 3rd and 18 play, or was it the 3rd and 25? I don't know which one it was. There were so many, or there was a couple that I don't remember anymore. Cam Bynum, you mistimed your jump by 1 step. And then you would have had an interception or at the very least a knockdown. And they scored a touchdown on that drive. Okay, that's the difference right there. The fumble that led to 7 points. There's a difference there too. So as the late, great Denny Green would say, they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. We had them. We had the champs ready to be knocked out, and you let them back up. That's like That's like if a team holds Michael Jordan to 24 points in a playoff game, but they still lost because Michael did one or two crazy things. He played good defense. He set up one of his teammates. He did an alley-oop to Scottie Pippen, whatever. Whatever. Oh, we held Mahomes to less than 300 yards. So, hang a banner. We held Mahomes under 300 yards. I'm supposed to be impressed by that? Copyright Shania Twain. That don't impress me much. What impressed me much is winning the damn football game. And this team has beat nobody this year except the 0-3, the 0 for Carolina Panthers. Congratulations. We're going to have to accept that this team just isn't very good. This team ain't very good. And I know it hurts to say that, and I know it hurts to hear it. But the definition of insanity is continually doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. You know what it's like? I'm gonna get back to the chats in a minute. You know what this is like for this team this year? This is like a guy and a girl dating for an extended amount of time, and they get into some scuffles here and there. But despite the fact that they both really care about each other, it just isn't working. And so one person says to the other, "You need to change, and then we won't fight so much." And the other person says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! We both need to change. It's not just me. It's not just you. It's both of us." And one of them won't admit it. And so the one that does admit it tries to change. And guess what? They still get into scuttlebuffs. They still fight. And then eventually the second person who didn't want to admit that they were part of the problem says, "Okay, I'll change." And you know what? They both changed. They both love each other, and they still fighting. And that's the key sign, is to say, hey, this ain't going to work. That's what's going on with the Minnesota Vikings right now. KOC is trying to do the same things he did last year because he went 13-4, but it was fool's gold. It was total fool's gold. I'm not saying we have to give those wins back. And I'm not saying that the regular season enjoyment wasn't worth having, but it is what it is. They're just not very good. Last one for right now. The last year of Mike Zimmer, we finished 8-9, and we had all of those games where we gave up points defensively in the last 2 minutes of the first half and fourth quarter. And everybody's saying, well, we just need a couple breaks to go our way and a couple plays here and there, and we could have been 10-7 and could have got the wild card spot. And I say, first of all, you're going to get your ass kicked in the first round of the playoffs anyway. So what the hell does the difference make? And last year, we were also a 10-win team that got a few breaks. We've been a 10-win team at best for the last couple seasons. And we've been trying to do the same thing over and over again. And we're shocked to find that the results are the same. It just is what it is. They're not a good team. And that sucks for all of us. I want us to be a good team. I want us to win one Super Bowl before I die. I don't want to be coming on this mic every Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, regardless of what night it is. Copyright Wiggins, Jermaine Wiggins from back in the day. But anyway, all I'm saying is it is what it is. And it sucks. I don't like saying it. I know nobody likes hearing it, but if you really think, in all seriousness, okay, well, if we get Chicago and we're 2-5 and we can win those 5 games, what evidence have the Vikings presented at all this season to say that they could win 5 games in a row? I'd love to hear some evidence. Oh, well, those are bad teams. I'll say it for the third time this week. Those other teams are saying, we're coming up on the easy part of our schedule because we got the 1-4 Minnesota Vikings who only beat Carolina. Do you not want to acknowledge that they're saying the same thing to you people out there that actually think we can win 10 wins and compete for this division, or at the very least a wild card spot? You are out of your goddamn mind. This team is not going to win 5 games in a row. This team will get itself at best 7 wins just to miss the playoffs, just to pull yourself out of a top 5 pick down to a top 12 pick, maybe 15, who the hell knows. All I'm saying is stop fooling yourselves. And if you really think that this team can get to 10 wins, I got a bridge to sell you. I'll take that bet any goddamn day of the week, any day of the week. All right. I know I let you all chat for a while because I was on a roll. At the end of the game, why didn't they call either one of those penalties the Chiefs committed? The taking the helmet off was after they picked up the flag and that it was a turnover of possession uh, after a failed fourth down. So even if they had called that penalty, it would have just moved them back a few yards. And maybe that might have made a difference with the last Hail Mary pass. But butterfly effect, things change. As far as the non-pass interference call, I can see it not being catchable. I can also listen to the argument, well, it wasn't catchable because he was getting holding. At the very least, they should have called defensive holding. I'll give you that. And I'll give you that was a very inconsistent call because they called pass interference on Harrison Smith, although I was pissed at Harrison Smith. I was like, dude, you're a how many year veteran? Turn your head around. You know that you're going to get flagged if you don't look for the ball. But let's not pretend that Kansas City didn't have like 5 penalties on one drive and then they called a whole bunch of them. But even with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the refs ain't the reason we lost this game. We shot ourselves in the foot. I tell you what, how is it that our feet actually have any more room to shoot our feet in? Because we've shot ourselves in the foot so many times this year so far, we don't have a foot left. I'm just saying. Shout out Mary in the building. Coors Light on the way. Appreciate you, Mary. And I really wish it would have been the other way around. I honestly do. No, you never. No, never know when you will need. Oh, yes. Thank you. I got you. If I see one more Pat Mahomes or Taylor, shut the TV off. You ain't lying. And yeah, you know what? Good call here. SKOL TY, if Madison catches that screen pass, that bogus non-call doesn't happen. But here's the thing. If Madison had caught that ball, ladies and gentlemen, let's not pretend that instead of just trying to run the clock out, that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs would have tried seriously to score. Whether they would have been trying to score a touchdown or just get in field goal range. All I'm saying is, yes, Madison, I'm sorry. Dude, you have got to make that catch. You could have walked into the end zone with the convoy that was in front of you. Oh, I love Alexander Madison. He's a great human being. Does a lot of charity work, and I've met his father, both online and in person at SKOL Fest. Wonderful people. I'm just saying he's not a starting running back, and I thought he was. Chad says, don't give up on your I appreciate you. We barely won against that team that doesn't have a practice. That's what I'm saying. Detroit did what Detroit was supposed to do. Well, we get my life in Vegas. There you go. We are not good. We should play the younger players since Jefferson's going to be. Yeah, you know what? And I don't want to see Justin Jefferson on this field for at least a month. There's no reason. Yeah, Beyonce, why are you yelling? Well, maybe with just her, but anyway. I don't care. You wouldn't know what to do with it. Dylan in the building. What's going on? KOC and Quasi should be here to select the next quarterback. Then we can judge both of them. Yeah, I kind of feel you on that. If we draft a quarterback in the first round, it buys KOC. Here's the thing, as far as KOC, I don't know about Quasi. Like Quasi and KOC were signed to 4-year contracts. There is zero chance the Vikings could go 0 for the rest of the season and finish 1-16, and Kevin O'Connell will be back here next year. And I'll tell you why. This is the last year of Mike Zimmer's extension. So the Wills have been paying both Zimmer and O'Connell to coach this team. Zimmer, of course, being gone. So the Wills have been paying 2 quarterbacks. They're not going to fire Kevin O'Connell and then have to pay him for 2 more years plus the new coach that's coming in. They will give him at least a 3rd year. Quasi, I don't know. I would assume so. But I get your point, Chad. It's a great point to make. But just for anybody that's wondering if KOC is going to survive, unless the Wills totally go against what they normally do. I think we lose the next 2 games, changes at the point. I certainly hope so, SKOL Mafia. I certainly hope so. Retool. Yeah, I got you. I knew what you meant. Shout out to Two-Tone Tony. What's going on? Hey, I'm chilling, man. I'm just chilling here with you guys. SKOL for Life is in the building. What's going on? We got Frozen North in the building. What's going on with you as well? We got Darian. What's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, we have not won a game at US Bank Stadium, and we're going to lose the next one. So we will be 0-4. And you know what? That gets back to the point I was making. These nincompoops out there that think we can go on a 5-game winning streak. We're going to go to Atlanta and I'm sorry, we're going to go to Green Bay, then go to Atlanta, have one home game against the Saints, and then go to Denver and Chicago. We're going to have 4 of those 5 games on the road. You think we can win all 5 of those? Get out of here. We can't win in our own building. We're going to go 4 and we're going to win 5 games, 4 out of those 5 on the road. Yeah, we only have 4 more home games after San Francisco and we got 1 extra road game. We had the extra home game last year, but oh, yeah, no, we're not winning 5 in a row. I hope I'm wrong. You know what? If we win 5 in a row, I'll come on this mic and I'll play this tape back and I'll say I was dead wrong. I was dead wrong. But yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. All right, I know I'm way behind, so I'm just yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Bears can play to win and they still own the first. Well, that's yeah, that's true because they got their own and they got Carolina's. No reason Hunter's still on this team at the I totally agree. I said it. I'd trade Hunter. That was the one I forgot. I forgot that during my opening monologue. I would trade Hunter. I'd be like, Hunt, D Hunt, we not finna pay you next year. So tell us where to send you. Tell us where you would waive your no trade clause for, and we'll try to get something done. Whether you work out an extension before the end of the season, that's your business. But I'll say right now, I will say right now, you can get a 2nd or a 3rd round pick for Danielle Hunter. You take it in a minute. You can get probably a 5th round pick for Harrison Smith. You take that in a heartbeat. You could probably get a 3rd or a 4th for Ezra Cleveland for a team that needs some depth, or if somebody's, tackle or guard goes down. KJ Osborne will net you a 4th or a 5th. Kirk Cousins net you a 2, maybe a 1 if a team's desperate or not. But if you let all these players walk next year and get nothing in return, that's stupid. That's absolutely stupid. When you have the opportunity, any business has assets and liabilities. Okay? Assets depreciate. Hopefully your liabilities don't appreciate, right? But anyway, if you know that the useful life of an asset is coming to an end, you got 2 choices. You can run it into the ground and just scrap it and get no resale value, or a year or 2 before you're just not going to use it anymore, you sell it off. And now you got a down payment for the next piece of machinery that you're going to buy to replace that one that you're getting rid of. It's not all that different than running a business. If you know you're not going to sign Danielle Hunter, how stupid would it be to let him walk out the door? Oh, we can get a 5th round compensatory pick in 2025. Big bleeping deal. If I can get a 3rd round pick or a 2nd round pick in 2024 versus waiting for a 5th round pick in 2025, because Danielle Hunter, that's all you would get is a 5th round pick if I did my numbers right. Once you get to a certain age, the only compensatory pick you can get, I believe, is a 5th round. So, for example, if you let Kirk Cousins walk out the door, the best you can get for him is a 5th round pick, 5th round compensatory pick, because he's too old. I thought I saw that Danielle Hunter was also a 5th. Maybe he's a 4th. In any event, I don't give a damn. If I can get a 3rd round pick next year, I want that. That's something. 2 years from now. 2 years from now. I know T-Bass. I know you done with KOC. And I don't necessarily totally disagree with you, because you're right. I've been saying it every Monday night. KOC, unprepared, turnovers. That's all on you. Not doing creative play calls. I know some people want to say, oh, the play calling is fine. It's the execution. Okay. Clearly your players are not executing what you're putting out there. So put something else out there. Put something else out there. My goodness. I am done with KOC. I see has been officially put on. I totally get you with that. Like I said, I think he'll get next year. And if he doesn't change it next year, I'm done with him. If the Packers had been playing like we have been, our fan would have eviscerated them. Well, there's that. Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on TJ Hawkinson. I'm a little bitter with my guy, our guy. Like, wait a minute, dude. We gave you the bag, made you the highest paid, and you dropping more balls than a hernia surgeon right now. I mean, honestly, he's dropping more balls than a hernia surgeon. That's what TJ Hawkinson's doing right now. And I get it. Some of it's just like bad luck, but some of it's you weren't in training camp. Okay? You sat out of training camp, and that's fine to get your bag. I understand where you were going with it, but this is the result of that. Yeah. Exactly, T-Bat. I'm totally good. I'm totally with you. If you're a good team, you overcome those things. No, well, I agree with you, SKOL for life, but I got one better for you. If you're a good team, you don't make all of those mistakes in the first place. Okay. If you came out unprepared in week 1, 3 turnovers, and let's say for the sake of argument that from the Philly game on, you had 1 or 2 turnovers in those 4 games, you could say, okay, for the most part, we've corrected this issue. They haven't corrected it. Good. Everybody want to say, oh, we got a great team, but for those turnovers. That's part of the discussion. You can't just eliminate those turnovers and say, well, we're still a good team, except for our turnovers. Okay. What good does that do you? Absolutely none. Absolutely none. Dan Jones should send a gift back. Oh, absolutely. You know what? Here's the thing. When I said sometimes when you win, you really lose, the Giants won that playoff game, but they lost in the long run because they gave Daniel Jones all that money. I appreciate you, 6-shooter. I appreciate you. Preach it. Preach that Vikings guy. You're right. When a great team has blah games, their opponent tries to give them the game, they will take it. Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Mateo? Good to see you. This team is yes, this team is so soft, and it has been for years. It was soft in the Zimmer era too, but we were winning enough games that we didn't notice. But guess what? When we went to Philly, we showed the world how soft we were. Oh my gosh, you're totally right. By definition, KOC is insane. Yes, I totally agree. Never happened with Jordan because all you had to do was fall Pippen hard in the paint, and you would never hear from me. Pippen would love, yeah, to a certain extent. To a certain extent, I think that was the first time I've seen Carl. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about the game, I don't have it on in here. So he wants to be like the yes, absolutely. KLC is the parent that's afraid to discipline their kid because they're afraid, oh, well, I'll just go to the other parent because they're nice to me. You're spot on, Mateo. You are spot on. He wants to be their friend more than he wants to be their coach. Just like, oh, I want to be my child's friend and not their parent. And then I'm all shocked when they're 18 years old acting a fool. That's not the definition of insanity. The definition of the insanity thing was in our. I know. I'm just saying. Frozen, I'm just saying. Yes, if you could hit that like button. If you're in here for the first time, you don't subscribe to me, hit that subscribe button. That 13-win season wasn't worth it. You know what, Mateo? I'm going to bring it up here now. I'll say it right now for everybody who hasn't heard me say this. In December of Mike Zimmer's last year, it was obvious that it was Mike Zimmer's swan song. We all know that. Okay. And I was talking to Mike and Kyla during a show, a now defunct YouTube channel. But anyway, and I said, the one thing I don't want is if they're going to fire one of them between Zimmer, Spielman, and Cousins, then you need to get rid of all 3 of them and you need to start your rebuild process because even if you had gotten rid of Zimmer and Cousins but kept Spielman, no. Or whether it was you kept Zimmer and Cousins and got rid of Spielman, although good luck with that. But no, get rid of all those. And what Mike said to me was, you're getting rid of the 3 biggest pillars of your team, your general manager, your coach, and your quarterback. I said, yes, that's true. But consider this. Keeping Kirk Cousins has kept you in mediocrity. And I'm not saying it's all his fault. The Kirk stands will say, Justin, you're being negative on Kirk and you think it's all his fault. No, I don't. I know what Kirk is. He's a guy that will never let you, well, until this season anyway. Prior to this season, you had never had fewer than 6 or 7 wins. But you also never had more than 11 or 12 but for last year. And I said, if you keep Kirk Cousins with the new head coach, you're just delaying the inevitable. We're going to have one good year and one mediocre year, and then we're going to start our retool in 2024. And I said, no, your best option is to get rid of Spielman, Zimmer, and Cousins. One, because you could have got a lot of draft picks for Cousins at that point. But number 2, you wasted 2 years of Justin Jefferson's rookie contract by keeping Kirk and again, I get it. The Wilfs wanted to see what their team would be with a different coach. That's what they said. You want to know the real reality? They didn't want to blow the whole thing up because they are afraid of being bad. Their desire to not be bad is greater than their desire to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying they have no desire to win a Super Bowl. Of course they do. They want to go to that owners meeting and hold up that ring. Of course they want to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying they don't. What I am saying is their fear of being bad is higher than their desire to win a Super Bowl. And so I said, you need to get rid of Cousins. You need to get rid of Adam Thielen. You need to get rid of Kendricks. You need to get rid of Harrison Smith. You need to get rid of all of these old players with bloated contracts. And guess what? Then you would have had all kinds of salary cap because all of those void years would have come due in 2022 and 2023. And yeah, 2022 and 2023. And then we would have already restarted our rebuild, and we'd be into year 2 right now. And next year we'd be into year 3. Well, guess what? Next year is now going to be year 1. And next year, Justin Jefferson's going to be making $20 million at minimum, if not more. So you wasted 2 years of Justin Jefferson's rookie contract because you didn't want to get rid of people as soon as KOC came in here. So Jermaine Wiggins, tight end number 1 for Culpepper. Let me start my failed break. Yes, that was funny, Mateo. You're absolutely right. I wish they will lose 2 years straight and lose 34. Well, I'm not going to go that far, Shay. I mean, I get what you're saying. But that's a little too much. They are a 4 to 5 win team this year. Yeah, again, you want to know what I really want? If I'm being honest, I'm never going to cheer for losses. But if we ended up 3-14 and the only 2 games that we won for the rest of the season were the 2 games against the Packers, we'd have a top 5 pick. We would have beaten the Packers twice. And we can move on. Now, that's not going to happen. This team, despite how horseshit it has been thus far, is going to stumble into at least 6 wins. Where they're going to come from, I don't know. And at this point, I don't care. They're going to stumble into 6 wins. They just are, because they always do. Even if Justin Jefferson misses the next 4 games, I'll say one more time, he better not be on Soldier Field this Sunday. I don't care if he says he's ready to go. No, you have to protect him from himself. You have to tell Justin Jefferson, hey, you are our biggest asset, and I'm not playing you when you're not 100% healthy. And you can tell me, oh, I'm 100% healthy, coach. I really am. The hell you are. Not a hamstring. No. I'm protecting Justin Jefferson from himself. You are not going to go out there on Soldier Field. You are not going to be in that game against the San Francisco 49ers. And if it was up to me, I would just say, hey, no to Green Bay and no to Atlanta. You can come back in the Saints game. You take a month because you don't want to re-injure that damn hamstring. Oh, my gosh. No. Say, Justin, hey, this year's shot. So let's just chill so we can figure out what we're going to do. But I agree with some earlier comments. Only losers make excuses. Yes, I totally agree. What about Addison getting held in the end zone? Yeah, again, it's borderline because the ball was somewhat uncatchable. But again, if you had tied that game up, Patrick Mahomes still has the ball left with 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Hold on, Dick. What you got? No, he's talking about that. Yeah, I'll read that later. But we got Sarah in the building. Shout out, Sarah. How you doing? Why do we keep throwing the ball to people who can't and not throwing to people who can? I know, Sarah. No leader, no consequences to drops and fumbles. Yeah, you know what? If KOC had any balls whatsoever, he would have stuck by the threat that he made with the media last week, saying, if these turnovers continue, I'm benching their ass. Well, Josh Oliver fumbled on the first play, and he got more playing time, didn't he? I thought you was going to bench him. So right off the bat, KOC, you've gone back on what you said, what you was going to do. That's because Kirk's an idiot, sir. Well, he's not an idiot. He's just pre-programmed, and he can't get his pre-programming restructured. And people cry about when Rodgers freezes out a player. Yeah, I totally agree. Detroit got a point to prove. They've been working on this point. Well, yeah, that's true. 63. All I'm saying is about Detroit is this. Since we're not going to win this division, I'd rather it be Detroit because I'd rather it not be Green Bay. When the Vikings are eliminated, or at the very least, we know for a fact that it's pretty much over, it's ABGB. Anybody but Green Bay. So I don't want the Packers to backdoor into a division title. So no, I'll take the Lions going. Not us. We keep throwing the ball to them. Yeah, I know. We need to play scene in booth. At least I can chuckle when the Vikings lose. Yeah. Again, here's what I would do. I will say this one more time. You know what? I do still have that banner, so I'm going to put that one up. I know you guys saw this last week, but here we go. And this is what I said, and I maintain this, and I will until something changes around here. A little step back versus a full-on tank. A full-on tank is trading Kirk Cousins, Danielle Hunter, Harrison Smith, KJ Osborne, Ezra Cleveland, and Justin Jefferson. That's a full-on tank. That is literally getting rid of all of your best assets and literally burning it to the ground and starting from the ground up. A step back is to trade your pending free agents. Just like in baseball, at the trade deadline, people say, oh, we're not going to get anything for this guy because we already know we're not going to re-sign him, so let's trade him for, some other prospects. And you see, good players get moved at the trade deadline for prospects. It's the same damn thing. You trade your pending free agents for draft picks so that you can get some more prospects in here. But trading Kirk Cousins is not a tank. See, the nincompoops out there that are such Kirk stands and, oh, well, if we get rid of Kirk, we'll be terrible. As if we are not already terrible. Okay. So what's the difference? A full-on tank can only be achieved if you trade Justin Jefferson. And let me be clear on whatever 1,000-watt radio. It's not a 100,000-watt radio, but anybody within shouting distance and anybody that can hear me. Under no circumstances do I trade Justin Jefferson. I want Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison to be the 1-2 punch at wide receiver for our new quarterback, whether it's a veteran quarterback that we sign on the cheap or a quarterback we draft and develop. I don't care. I'm not trading Justin Jefferson for anything other than Patrick Mahomes. If I could trade Jefferson for Patrick Mahomes, I do that. But obviously, I'm being facetious right now. I'm being totally facetious right now. But no, I'm not trading Justin Jefferson. And so my point is, for the people out there that think trading Danielle Hunter and the rest of the names I mentioned, including Kirk Cousins, is tanking. No, it's not. No, it's not. Eric is in the building. Shout out to Eric. I know I'm 15 minutes behind on all these chats, but, I just kind of whatever. I don't even want to watch the San Francisco game. You ain't lying, dude. You probably ain't lying. 5 in a row. Yeah, you're exactly right. Cowgirls have a defense and they still got what? Yeah. You're absolutely right. October 31st. So the Tuesday after the Green Bay game is the trade deadline. And I'll say it right now. If you lose to Chicago, you start making phone calls. I'm not saying you just give people away, but you start making phone calls. You go to Kirk and say, hey, we ain't signing you back next year, so give us a list of teams you'll waive your no trade clause to. We'll work out a deal with them, and we'll also work out trying to get you your extension. And even then, I don't think Kirk would take it. He doesn't want to uproot his family. And I don't begrudge him that. And I don't begrudge him negotiating a no trade clause. The Vikings were stupid to give it to him, but they did. So I don't care what my compatriot Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk says. And tomorrow, I imagine we're going to have more arguing about, hey, the season's not over. It's not over yet. We can beat Chicago and then we'll lose to San Francisco and then win those. No. But my point is, yeah, if Kirk Cousins says I'm not waiving my no trade clause, I absolutely bench him and say, hey, we're putting Jaren Hall in. 1, we want to see what he's got. 2, we're trying to motivate you to tell us where we can trade you to. Damn it, no. You done. It's over. I don't want you out there. And his comeback is, well, what about the rest of the players? What kind of message does that send? It sends the message that we already know we're not good and that we're trying to figure out what we're going to do next year and beyond. That's the message it sends. What message does it send to keep playing the same old-ass players to win 1 or 2 games more? Nothing. Absolutely not a goddamn thing. Keep playing Kirk Cousins. No. Well, what about players that have incentives in their contract? Do I give a flying bleep about? If I don't care about players' contracts when they're signing their contracts, I don't care what they are after they signed them either. You know what? If KJ Osborne has some incentives in his contract and we're going to try to trade Kirk Cousins or bench him, then KJ Osborne can come in and say, hey, you might as well trade me too. Okay. I don't care about people's incentives. I care about the Vikings. I care about this team. One Super Bowl before I die. That's all I'm asking for. I want more after that, but you get my point. I don't care. As Herb Brooks said, the name on the front of the jersey is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. And if you say, well, you're establishing a losing culture, we already got that, ladies and gentlemen, except Kirk stands and ultra positive people that want to be Ducky and Bunny and want to still pretend that there's a chance don't see that. They just don't see that. Anyway, just don't let's. Yeah, right. All right. I'm going to skip. I'm going to see if there's anything in here. So hold on. Hawk doesn't seem to be that hard. You ain't lying. Rapwood actually wants to. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys. I appreciate you so much for giving me all these chats because I'm just kind of whatever. I'm going to be here and I'm going to try to entertain you guys as best I can. But it is so much easier when I got a bunch of you willing to put stuff in the chat and have conversations with you. JJ is Robin. We need a Batman. Kirko's like Aquaman. Lukewarm. Nobody's sure what his powers are. Oh, dinner. That's the line of the night. Oh, that's good. Do the Wills not realize what we've been through? They don't care. I mean, what do all billionaires want, Chad? More billions. It's not that they don't care, but it's not their priority. Really think back to 5-win seasons. That's a good point, though, Chad. And that's what if I could sit down with Ziggy and Mark Wilf, I'd say to him, don't be afraid of being bad for a year or two. Us Vikings fans are the loyalist fan base in the NFL. Yeah, Philadelphia's going to say they're loyal. Boston's, New England's going to say they're loyal. They're not. Look at the history. We are the winningest franchise that doesn't have a title, a world championship, and we still here. You think we're not going to still tailgate? You think we're not going to still come into the building even if we have a bad team as long as there's a purpose for it? Yeah, if we're bad, yeah, you can make the argument, well, do you trust Kwesi to fix it? That's not the point. The point is, if we win 6 or 7 games, we still have Kwesi picking for us, except now it's round 15. And if we don't continue to win, or at least a couple wins, we might be in the top 5. So it's the same thing. Kwesi's going to be the one picking them, regardless whether it's 5 or 15. I'd rather it be 5, and I'd rather it be 5 in every single round. So the notion of, well, even if we did start losing and got a serious pick, I don't trust Kwesi to. If you don't trust him to make a pick at number 5 or less, you shouldn't then trust him to be making picks at 15. It's a terrible analogy. It's a terrible logic. Shout out to Evil in the building. What's going on? Keep JJ out till week 15. I don't know that I go that far, but I like this. Sup, Evil bro. Yeah. Totally unrelated. Few things piss me off as much as garbage ass gritties around the league. Every time I want to revoke the gritty list. Yeah, you know what? There's only one dude who can do it and do it the right way. There's only one. Don't apologize. It's all good. Time to figure out the Cousins exit plan. Well, I got a good one. I just gave it. If it were up to me, Kirk would do it. Yeah, me too, Sarah. I'll help him pack his bags. But we can still go 12-5. Yeah. Okay. You've been hanging out in Dave's chat too much. Bears coach says he's looking for a defense analyst to help out making in-season adjustments to get better. What a concept. Yeah, I totally agree. KOC, how do you make that challenge yesterday? You know what? I'm going to circle back. Let's do this. Kevin O'Connell, part 2. You burned all 3 of your timeouts. 1, because your defensive alignment wasn't good. 2, because you challenged the dumbest thing ever. And 3, most importantly, you called a timeout to avoid taking a 5-yard delay of game penalty. That 5 yards is not as important as having the timeout towards the end of the game around 2 minutes left. And it drives me crazy. You know what? All these coaches in the NFL, if you're about to get a delay of game penalty, unless it's like, your 3rd and goal from the 8, you get a delay of game penalty, make it 3rd and 13 or 13 yards to go. 3rd and goal from the 13. Okay, I can listen to that. But you're at what? I don't even remember where the hell they were on the field. It doesn't matter, especially when you already have burned your first 2 times. Now, if you got 3, I would still dislike it. under no circumstances is the 5 yards that you would lose on a delay of game penalty worth a timeout against Patrick Mahomes in the second half. No, those 5 yards are not worth giving up a timeout. In-game decisions, just like the unbelievable, undisciplined, and unprepared this team is, his in-game decisions. I'm sorry, dude. I like you as a person, but you gotta be, I'm not saying you gotta be Mike Zimmer and be a tyrant, but you gotta be somewhere in the middle. And honestly, burning all 3 of your timeouts with 9 minutes to go. You want to know what the worst part of that is? And I said this in a group chat with myself and Rap and Dave and GG and SK, the Purple and Skull Media crew. There was 9 minutes and 27 seconds left, and you were out of timeouts, which means for the next 7 minutes and 20 some seconds until the 2-minute warning, you do not have the ability to challenge something. So what if there was a play where Patrick Mahomes skips it to Travis Kelce and they called it a catch on the field, even though you look at the replay and it's clearly an incomplete pass? You wouldn't have been able to challenge that because you had to take your last timeout to avoid 5 yards penalty. What do you think is more important, the 5 yards or the timeout, especially when you've already burned the rest of them? Detroit actually has young, talented roster. Oh, yes. Why? Because they didn't try to keep their old players. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if we got something here. Shout out to Caesar in the building. What's going on? I feel like trading the Kirk to San Francisco to be the back of the Purdy. Yeah, Kirk would not take that. That no trade clause wouldn't go that far. Shout out Bob in the building. What's going on? What's going on? Good to see you. I can't wait for the off season. Yeah, so you can mock every day. Yeah, I want to mock Bob. I just picture me showing up at Kirk's house to yeah. And I'd be like, hey, Kirk, what's going on, man? I'm just here to help you out. I'm just here to donate my time. And I won't even rip you. Oh, hi, Julie. How's it going? Is it okay if I help you guys? I mean, I should probably be asking you if it's okay for me to help you pack your bags. I shouldn't be talking to Kirk. I really should be talking to you. And again, let me be clear. I am just totally playing around here. I'm not saying anything disgraceful or demeaning to Kirk and Julie here. So I don't want anybody coming at me, oh my gosh, you sexist bastard, talking about Julie Cousins like that. Stop. No, I'm just playing around. Look, the Twins sucked last year needing pitching. They went out and got pitching. Now look where they are. Yeah, it's okay. That's the thing. It is okay to be bad for a year or two. Nobody wants to be bad for a year or two, but it's worth the price. I'll say again, if we were bad for the rest of this season and 2024, but in 2025 and 26, you start, ascending again. And by 27, 28, and 29, you're playing in a Super Bowl and you win one. If we won a Super Bowl in the next, 7 years, are you going to tell me that it wasn't worth it? I said this earlier on my show on Purple and Skull Media. San Antonio Spurs in 1998 lost David Robinson for the season. I can't remember if it was a busted ankle or broken leg or whatever it was. And the San Antonio Spurs sucked that year. You know what happened to them? They got the number 1 pick and drafted Tim Duncan. And then they had the Twin Towers. Tim Duncan and David Robinson won 2 titles together. And Tim Duncan, along with Manu Ginobili and Parker, they won 2 more. So the San Antonio Spurs had to endure a terrible 1998, and they got 4 titles out of it. You think they give a damn about the sucky year that 98 was for them? No, they don't. No, they don't. And neither would we if we really wanted to. But again, alas, it's the Wilfs. When the announcer said before the Fail Mary, remember Casey? Oh gosh, he's not the yes. You're absolutely right. The Twins are helping me. Yes, the Twins are. I mean, they played really good yesterday. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it because I was on with Rap, but I saw the highlights. I'm like, let's go. Let's LFG, baby. Tomorrow and hopefully Wednesday, we get this last 2 games against the cheating Houston Astros. You're right. Usually it's the Vikings that help us get through the Twins being terrible, but no, we got it the other way around. You know what? That's fine. That's fine, School Mafia. You know what? When we get to the World Series, you can jump on our bandwagon and be like, you know what? I actually kind of like baseball now that, Minnesota teams, somebody's got to win one at some point. What's up, Jim NFL? Appreciate you coming by. I really do. What's up, Gil? Gil in the building. I appreciate you. I'm almost actually caught up. Imagine that. if I had that power, Jim, if I had that power. Scold your soup in the building. What's going on? Didn't know you was live till now. I was gaming. What's good? Scold your soup. I go Monday night every week. If YouTube don't send you that notification, check to see if the bell's rung. But it's good to see you though. And it don't matter. You know what? Go back, watch the beginning. I had a pretty good rant, or at least I think it was a pretty good rant. You guys can tell me if it was a good rant or not. You know, I'm admittedly biased, but good to see you as always. Thank you kindly for joining me. There is no salary cap in baseball. Yes, you beat me to it. I was just going to say that. One more loss, and I'm filling up the mock machine. They're going to lose to San Francisco. So you can just fire up that mock machine now. You just fire it up. They ain't beating San Francisco. I said it earlier. I'm not convinced that they're beating Chicago. Chicago's going to be amped up for that game. Games 5 or 7 in MLB playoffs feel like Sunday. Yeah, exactly. No, I totally agree. Detroit got a second and third round pick for the player they knew they weren't going to re-sign last year. Yeah. They kind of fleeced us because we were doing better last year than we had anticipated, and Irv Smith Jr. was injured. Not that he was any freaking good when he wasn't injured, dropping passes left and right. He did catch that one touchdown in the New York Giants playoff game. Good freaking for you. JJ with no contract on a sweet time getting healthy. Yes, and I don't mind that, Caesar. I do not mind. JJ could take as much time as he wants because I don't want him out there re-injuring his hamstring. And I don't want him out there because, well, gives us a better chance to win. In for a penny, in for a pound. I'm not saying, again, I got it right there. A little step back versus a full-on tank. It's a natural step back. It's, let's just clear the decks. Clear the decks. 7 years is too long. We got some old time. Well, here's what I'm saying. All right, Scold Your Soup. If we are garbage for the rest of 2023 and we're garbage next year in 2024, but then in 25, we start ascending and we win like 9 games and we barely miss the playoffs. And then the next year we win the division, we get into the playoffs, we get to the divisional round. Okay. So what am I up to now? That's the completion of the 2026 season. And then let's say 2027, 2028, and 2029. Let's say we get to the NFC Championship game all 3 of those years, and 2 out of those 3 years we actually get to a Super Bowl, something I have not seen in my lifetime, and we win one of those 2 Super Bowls. That's what I'm talking about. So, yes, we're talking theoretically about 2027, but my point isn't being trash for 23 and 24 if the end result is a Super Bowl or 2 by 27, 28, and 29. And the answer to that for me is yes. I absolutely would sacrifice 2 years. And guess what? You're not really sacrificing anything. That's the whole thing too. We're a mediocre team when we are good. You don't want to sacrifice 2 mediocre seasons in order to be 2 bad seasons. 2 mediocre seasons. And guess what? 2020. I've said this one before. I'll say it again for those of you new to the bit. In 2020, the COVID year, we started off 1-5. A week and a half before the trade deadline. And we had our 7th game against the Green Bay Packers. That was the game where Dalvin Cook scored all 4 touchdowns. We won 28-22. And then the trade deadline was coming up. Just like this year, the trade deadline is right after the Packers game, amazingly enough. And what did we do? Well, we traded away Yannick Ngakoue, who we traded a 2nd-round pick for and got a 4th-round pick back because he wasn't a good fit. And it was, we should sell off some players. Great. Sell off more than just Yannick Ngakoue. You had an opportunity. And the Wilfs, if I could have told, I'm like, there's already no fans in the stadium. This is the perfect time to take a step back, to get rid of older players with bloated contracts. It's the perfect time to do it. But no, what did we do? We went 6-4 in our last 10 games. Big bleeping deal. No, 6-4. We turned it around only to finish 7-9 and miss the playoffs. And now we're choosing in the mid-teens, early 20s again. Seriously? Why? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Fair enough. I didn't see it. So I'm just going to leave that one alone. Would Tim Duncan want to play quarterback? I'd take him. No, I wouldn't. I'm just saying. It's so scary. So, oh, absolutely. Absolutely, we would. I have a terrible memory. Bell rung. Okay, fair enough. The Vikings just needed to get out of here, too. Shout out to Evil in the building, but I ain't listening to that. I am not listening to that at all. I'm not. Stop it, Too Evil. Just stop it. I know you're just doing the bit. That's fine. Where's that one about Torrey Hunter I just saw? This whole feels like we'll see. We saw now. Okay. I wouldn't be mad at that. Would it suck? Yes, it would suck. I'm coming on this microphone every Monday night. And part of the reason I'm so frustrated right now isn't that they lost, and it isn't that they lost and had an opportunity to win. What frustrates me more than anything is that they're making the same mistakes and not correcting them. If they had a different mistake each week or a different set of mistakes each week, okay, then I could come on here and talk about, yeah, this week it was this player who fumbled. Next week, this player who fumbled. Next week, this player who threw Kirk threw an interception. It's the same thing over and over again. I want something different to say to you guys. I want them to if they're going to keep losing, at least lose differently every once in a while. But yeah, I would do anything to get Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison, his buddy, and Justin Jefferson. Just think about that for a second. And these idiots out there, let's extend Kirk Cousins for one more year. What the fuck would that do us? Absolutely nothing. Excuse my French, but what the fuck would that do us? Oh, well, then he can mentor the new quarterback. I don't want Kirk Cousins mentoring another quarterback. What's he going to mentor him on? How to check down on 4th and 8? How to never move around in the pocket? Why the hell would you want Kirk Cousins to mentor anybody? He's good, not great. He is what he is. But you want Kirk Cousins, with all due respect, to be the one to mentor our next quarterback? Hell no. Absolutely hell to the no. I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. But no. And guess what? You want a $50 million cap hit for what? One more season of Kirk Cousins at 36? No. I'm sorry. I'm done. All right. Now you understand. You like the time. All right, cool. I'll take 2 bad years to make 2 to 3 NFC championship games or a Super Bowl or 2. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Whoa. Where'd my chats go? What the hell? Oh, there they are. I don't know what happened there. The chats went away for a second. I'm like, no. Oh, I don't want. What am I going to do now? Without you guys? There's the Tory. Okay. Twins. Great. Okay. I don't know where you're going with that, but okay. Moving on. This whole I did that one. If we're 1-6 by the bye week, damn near everybody is for Dale. I think you meant sales, but yes. Here's the deal. If you're 1-6, well, it's not the bye week. We don't have our bye week till week 12, but I think what you meant was by the trading deadline. Yeah, if we lose to Chicago and then lose to San Francisco, you better be on the phone. And here's my point: you keep JJ, you keep Addison, you keep the 2 tackles and TJ on offense. On defense, you keep Pace, Byron Murphy, Josh Metellus, and Cam Bynum. But anybody else is open for business. Anybody else is open for business. That's all. You did say it right there. Are the Packers losing in week 7? You ain't lying, Frozen. That's exactly what they did in 2020. That's an interesting point. The Packers will sabotage themselves on week 7 to make the Vikings say, "No, you know what? I think we got it figured out, so we're not going to trade off our players." Vikings won't get Caleb. Some other team will. Yeah, you got to have the number 1 pick to get him. Eric, Kirk Cousins doesn't have any clues to throw to Jefferson and Addison. It's very obvious that. Yeah. I believe it was Sarah who put that in earlier. Project Easy Project Easy. I'm going to go with Easy unless you tell me otherwise. Shout out to Project in the building. Everybody say hello to Project because I believe this is the first time he has joined one of my shows. And so we shout you out anytime you make a comment. And if you're a first timer, everybody in the building say hello to Project Ez. Hawkinson is showing us exactly why the Lions let him go. Yes. Madison is the number 2. Yes. Stop blitzing Smith every 3rd time. Against Patrick Mahomes, yeah, they blitz a few too many times. Against somebody not named Patrick Mahomes, I don't know. But I get your overall point. They're doing the same crap, and it's like, okay, Nano Joe is in the building. What's going on, Nano? I ain't seen you for a minute. I seen you over in Purple Daily, but I ain't seen you on my show for a minute. Good to see you as well. How pissed will you be when very, very, very. I can tell you that right now. We was just talking about Rap and I were talking about that last night when he was talking about, hey, if we're in the top 5, whatever you drinking that night, whether it's leaded or unleaded, it will taste really good if we was in the top 5 or we had top 1 pick. But don't get Justin started on extension cur. I still. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. You are not lying. Oh my gosh. 40 million a year is a damn expensive benefit. Yes. And you want to know what the thing is, the thing about that, Frozen? As I've said, because of all these void years, Kirk Cousins has a 28.5 dead cap hit that's going to hit all at once if we don't retain him. But if we do retain him, only 10 of that dead money will hit 2024, and the other 18 will continue to get pushed out. So you've got 10 million dead, plus at minimum 40, you're right, because that's what Daniel Jones got, and there's no way on God's green earth Kirk's going to take less than Daniel Jones. So let's say you give him a 1-year, $40 million extension. Well, then his cap number will be $50 million next year. That's why I said $50 million earlier. And let's say Kirk wants 45 and you want to keep him. First of all, excuse me. Second of all, Kirk Cousins is not taking a 1-year extension. Why in the world would he do that? He's looking for one more 3-year to 4-year contract and one more bag to set up his great grandchildren. I mean, he's already got, his children set up for life. He wants another. And let me be clear. I don't begrudge him that. Get as much money as you can. All these owners taking up way more money than they should be and not giving enough to the players. So let me be clear. I do not begrudge Kirk Cousins that at all. I don't begrudge any player for getting as much money as they can playing this violent sport. But what I'm saying is it ain't going to be from me if I'm in charge of it. No, absolutely not. You're going to play $50 million against your salary cap. Nuh-uh. No thanks. When will the league stop paying non-elite quarterbacks, Kirk Denny? Never. Never. Kirk broke the bank when he signed with us for $28 million. And so everybody else post him. Well, if Kirk's going to get $28 million for 3 years for a total of $84 million guaranteed, well, this is how much I want. And then the next guy, and then the next guy. And that's the thing. And guess what? If the owners were to try to get together and say, you guys, we got to stop paying these non-elite quarterbacks, the players union would revolt. Shout out in the zone. What's going on? Appreciate you for coming on by, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Project. Donna Shell single-handedly destroyed the. Yes, I said that earlier. T-Bass. Excuse me, Too Evil. I said earlier, sometimes when you win, you really lose, and sometimes when you lose, you really win. Okay? The whole white men can't jump line from Gloria to Billy. The Giants won that playoff game, so that was a win. They then signed Danny Dimes to a ridiculous contract, so they really lost. Ed Donashell or Daniel Jones should be sending Ed Donashell some money every year. And I don't mean just a box of Christmas meat. I'm saying, like, you need to be saying, I don't think we're good enough for pick the I hope not, SKOL. And I say that in the context of short-term pain for long-term gain. I don't want people to say, Justin, you hope we lose. I don't hope we lose. I'm going to watch every single game. I want to be entertained. I want to see JJ do some gritties. I'm just saying, if they lose, I'm not disappointed anymore. I'm not disappointed by it. There's some people would come to me and say, if you're not disappointed when the Vikings lose, you're not a real fan. No, that's bullshit. A real fan would not accept mediocrity. You accept mediocrity. That makes you a bad fan. All due respect. And I don't have a problem with people that want to win every game because they can't stand the short-term pain and they don't see the benefit of the long-term game. That's fine. That's really fine. If you want the Vikings to continually be somewhere between 7 and 10 wins and never have a shot of a Super Bowl and getting to an NFC Championship game once every 8 to 10 years, if that's what if that's what gets you off, if that's what helps you sleep at night, by all means. If that does something for you, go right ahead. I'm not going to call you a bad fan for that. But the second you tell me I'm a bad fan for not accepting mediocrity anymore and seeing a path to not being mediocre, you can call me a bad fan for that? Go bleep yourself. Again, I don't have a problem with you having the opinion you want. What I have a problem with is We got the who's a real fan police out there. Oh my God, it drives me nuts. You're not a real fan if you cheer for losses. I ain't cheering for losses. I'm just saying I'm not disappointed by it. Bad Steven and the Vikings stopped doing the run play. Yeah, I totally agree. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a quarterback mentor? No, not really. You want to know what? I want Caleb Williams. I want Drake May. Those would be my first two choices. I don't know enough about the Shador Sanders. Those would be my top three. If I got Caleb Williams, I don't need a mentor. I'll put Caleb Williams out there day one. If I got Drake May, day one. Shador Sanders, I'd love to sit for a year. But if he had to go out there, I don't care. I don't need a mentor. I don't want to pay another quarterback and use up my salary cap space for a mentor. You know who should be the damn mentor? Kevin O'Connell. You brought a guy in here because he is an offensive-minded head coach, and we all kept saying, well, he's not going to want to be tied to Kirk Cousins his whole career. Fine. And I get what T-Bass is saying. I don't necessarily disagree with him. But the whole point of getting rid of Mike Zimmer and bringing an offensive-minded head coach was for him to develop the next guy. So I want Kevin O'Connell to be the mentor. Guess what? He doesn't count against the salary cap. Y'all got me real worked up now. No, we ain't getting 10 wins. We are not getting 10 wins. I agree with Bob, though. Stop the damn void year stuff. Again, it started with Rick Spielman, and that's why I give Kwesi a pass for his free agency. I don't give him a pass for his drafting. His drafting has been nothing short of doo-doo. But the free agency part, I'm not really mad at him because he was working with one hand tied behind his back with the lack of available funds due to Rick Spielman making terrible move after terrible move. How are there fans that think this team is going to win 10 games? I don't know. 4 or 5 is realistic. Yeah, I would agree that 4 or 5 is realistic. I don't know. Come back tomorrow night. I'm sure Dave and I will argue about it. I saw his post-game show for a little bit, and he's just like, oh, yeah, I'm kind of pissed, but I still think we can win 9 or 10 games. We can go on a 5-game winning streak. And for those of you that just joined me, what evidence do we have that this team has the capability of winning 5 games in a row? Oh, we're playing our soft spot of our schedule. We're talking about Green Bay, and we're talking about Atlanta and New Orleans and Denver. Those are all bad teams. So are we. I'll say it again. I know for those of you who've been here the whole time, you're going to hear me say the same thing twice. That's fine. But for the new people in the building, all the other teams are saying we're coming up to the soft spot on our schedule because we got the Vikings coming up. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. I'm going to get this right now. Oh, Las Vegas took the lead on Green Bay. All right, that's cool. All right. New Orleans just absolutely destroyed the Patriots 34-0. New Orleans is 3-2. Is that anything to write home about? No, but it's a decent start. So you're going to tell me that New Orleans is part of the soft part of our schedule when they got 3 wins. We got 1. Get out of here with that mess. Atlanta got 3 wins. Again, I'm not saying that Atlanta and New Orleans are world beaters, but you lost to Tampa Bay and you beat Carolina. And that's it. And you're going to lose to San Francisco, like we said. We said that already. You're going to lose to them. There's no way. And then you're going to talk about the Raiders and you're going to talk about the Broncos. Yeah, the Raiders and the Broncos should be games that we have a chance of winning. But there's no gimmies for this team. Chicago at the beginning of the season, we figured was a gimme because everybody was pumping up Justin Fields even though he hadn't done anything yet. Guess what? Chicago's not a gimme anymore, particularly if we don't have Justin Jefferson. Nobody on our schedule is a gimme. So this notion of a 5-game winning streak, well, it could happen. I don't know why you think that it couldn't. I don't know. Maybe the first 5 games we've played is an indicator that they're not very good, and therefore we can't really think about, oh, we can beat this team real easy. If we couldn't beat Carolina, are they the last team? Yeah, because it was us, it was Denver, and it was Chicago. Yeah. Okay. They're the last team that hasn't won a game yet, and we beat them 21-13. Let me say that one more time because I couldn't get to it without laughing. We beat Carolina 21-13. That's our only win against a team that's the only team that hasn't got a win. And you think we're going to go on a 5-game winning streak? Oh, I wish I had Raps in the soundboard. Stop the cap. It ain't happening. We need a top 5 pick this year. I hope it's one. As much as I hate saying it, yes, I actually do. Grandizer in the building. What's going on? SKOL Vikings. Yeah. VIK, rock 'em, sock 'em. Yeah, we've been getting rocked and socked, but no fan should ever tell somebody else how to be a fan. I agree. Again, I won't tell somebody that they're a bad fan if they just want mediocrity. I'll say I don't understand it and that it makes no sense to me. I will tell a fan that just wants mediocrity that you should demand more of your team and you shouldn't be afraid of a couple down years. Again, I've said this line a million times. Sometimes when you're stuck in the middle, it's the worst place to be because you're not bad enough to get top picks and you're not good enough to win the Super Bowl. And sometimes the better strategy is actually to take a step back and be a bad team for a couple of years so that you got a bunch of high picks. You got the ability to get rid of older veterans with bloated contracts and get rid of your dead cap, these void years or whatever the hell else, and then rebound and become a mediocre team for a couple of years and then keep pushing forward to be a good to great team after that. But no, we want to stay at 7 to 10 wins because we want to be competitive every year. Competitive every year is nothing short of mediocrity and nothing more than mediocrity. Being competitive every year. The Wolves, when we're in December and we're about a week ahead of Christmas, you want to know what the Wolves want? They just want the Vikings to be in the hunt. If they are the division leader, that's great. If they got a wild card spot at that time, that's great. But if they're still in the hunt, that's what they want because that keeps the stadium. And again, to a point that was made earlier, the Wolves, if I could shake their heads and be like, dude, even if we are bad for 2 years, we're still going to fill that stadium. We are still going to be loyal to this team. Yeah, you'll probably lose the 5% bandwagoners. Big deal. If that means you can get a Super Bowl, guess what? You will more than make up that money the years that you're going to NFC championship games or Super Bowls. So if you lose 5% of your cash flow, your income, you're gonna make that up. You're gonna make that up so fast. But I agree, Curtis, that I only am gonna tell somebody they're a bad fan if they call me a bad fan first. It's like I'm not gonna call teams or fans that want mediocrity. I'm not gonna call you a bad fan for that. I'm gonna say I don't agree with you. But if you call me a bad fan for saying mediocrity is not good enough, nah, it's on then. It's on then. Odds of getting 10 wins are as good as me. Grandizer. Justin, heaven forbid a fan is realistic, objective, and factual. Those fans usually call it correct. UT the fan, casual fan. Oh, yeah. Okay. Like 90% of the fan base can't handle that. I know. 90% of the fan base is listening to Paul Allen being Ducky and Bunny, taking over the mantle of the biggest homer in the Twin Cities from Sid Hartman once he passed, rest his soul. Listen here now. Once you leave this town, you never get another job in this town again. The Gophers aren't that bad. Pete Carroll screwed him over 30 years ago when he was supposed to take this job. That's fine. Be a homer, Paul. And I get it. But here's the thing. Paul was a homer before he got the gig of being the Vikings play-by-play guy. Let's just be clear about that. He was always a homer. Okay. And what's funny about Paul, it's like, it's okay if you want to be a homer. Just don't run from it. Just embrace the fact that you're a homer. There's a guy on ESPN Milwaukee when I was driving through Milwaukee or Wisconsin a couple times, and his name is literally Homer True. And he embraces being a complete Packers homer. I'm like, PA, just embrace it, dude. Nobody's gonna think less of you. We really won't. And with all due respect to, there's some content creators out there like myself and Rap and GG, and to a certain extent, SK, that keep it real. And we keep it, hey, we're going to tell you what we think. We're not just going to blow sunshine up your ass. We just not. I got 28 people in here right now, and I've been going for an hour and 24 minutes. Why? Because you guys understand that I'm going to keep it real. And I appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you, because I don't know what I'd be doing without you guys right now. And even beyond that, I just appreciate the loyalty. And I know Dave from First and SKOL will say the same thing. Dave and Tyler and Darren, we're going to give you our opinions. If you don't like our opinions, that's fine. Come back at us with a different opinion that makes sense, and we can have a peaceful casual discussion about it. But am I going to be a homer to you guys? Nah, not once. I'm never. I got done being a homer in the January of 1999 because I was at that Atlanta Falcons game where they beat us in the NFC Championship game. That's when I stopped being a homer. I was a homer right up until that moment. Going the night before that game, I said there was a 95% chance we were going to win. And they lost. That was the greatest team I've ever seen in my lifetime. I know the old timers will say 75. I didn't get to see 75. And yes, 98 was better than 2009. But regardless, it's not the point. The point is that no, I'm not just going to say, hey, you know what? We can win 5 in a row. We can get back into the wild card race. So we can lose in the first round of the playoffs. But it's better to go in the playoffs than it is to have a top 5 pick. Why? A top 5 pick will help you, in theory, get to a Super Bowl again. It'll get you out of mediocrity. It'll allow you to pay your bills, so then you can sign free agents. Well, look at Chicago. They had $100 million, and they're a dumpster fire too. Yes, they are. But they've started their process. Next year will be year 1 of us rebuilding, and it'll be year 3 for Chicago rebuilding. Who's further ahead, us or Chicago? And I'm not here to say that Chicago is on the way to winning a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is they at least tried. And the Vikings never try. They don't. As a mentor, KOC isn't it just an offensive-minded head coach. He's a former head. Thank you. Yes. Dave said, what? Why? Was he drunk? No, he's just drunk on the purple Kool-Aid. Come back tomorrow night in our show, 6:30, 7:30. I'm sure we'll argue. What's the point of having Booth and Scene if they just going to watch like us? I don't know. I'm done with Andrew Booth. I've been done with Andrew Booth since training camp when he got hurt again. All due respect. I wish him nothing but the best. And I was very hopeful when we drafted him. But at this point, I've used the phrase project. Any production we get out of Andrew Booth Jr. is just what we call found money. You can't rely on him for anything. I don't know what to make of Lewis Seen. It just drives me crazy. But we do have a deep safety room. But I agree with your overall point. If they're just going to watch, what's the point of having them? No, I don't disagree. You want to know why? Because they're dirt cheap. They're on their rookie contracts. So even if you cut them loose, then you'd have to find somebody to replace them with. It's probably going to cost them more money. So they're just bodies, and they're cheap bodies. We are on pace for 1-16. You ain't lying that. So here's my like Jade's tank. She is correct. She calls it correctly. She don't sugarcoat anything. Yes, absolutely. I love talking with Jade. I got to meet Jade the Saturday before the opener. Oh, she's every bit as cool off mic as she is on the mic. Now, she hates Kirk more than I do. She doesn't want to give any credit to him, which is fine. She can have her opinion. I don't begrudge her that, and I don't begrudge Dave his opinion. I just don't agree with it. And my problem at times is when I rebuff his logic, he'll just come back and say, what's wrong with me wanting him for one more year? Because he's not going to sign a 1-year contract. So your premise is already flawed. He's not going to sign a 1-year contract. And if you did, it would be $50 million against your salary cap, and that's not worth it. Well, we should do that so we can have our new quarterback sit for a year. Why? Caleb Williams don't need to sit for a year if you can get him. Drake May don't need to sit for a year if you can get him. And why? Why would you want to? Oh, well, Justin, we could trade up if there's a quarterback they want. Why the hell would we want to do that? So let's say you got the 12th pick and you need to trade up to pick 5 to get the quarterback you want because the rest of the quarterbacks have already gone 1, 2, 3, and 4. You do realize that means we'd have to give up our 2nd and our 4th round pick to move from 12 to 5. And if you're already at 5, now you still have your 2nd and 4th round pick, which can be used on other players to help your team get better. Or we can just trade up and give up some of our draft capital. How the hell stupid is that? Barely beat Carolina. No, I totally agree. Jimmy Garoppolo is back for the Raiders. Hopefully they win some games later. Well, what's the score? Well, it's still 17-13, but Vegas got the ball. All right. That's fair. We don't even get play-by-play. Wow. Okay. I'm sorry. KJ will have a big game, son. Oh, of course he will. Of course he will. It should be Addison, but whatever. KJ does kind of suck. He drops way too many balls, more balls than a hernia surgeon, as I said earlier. We're gonna figure some things out. Go 8-9, and just to make I know it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy that they don't see the forest for the trees. But again, let me be clear. Let me say this. It's 9:45, so I'm going to go about 5 to 10 more minutes. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself. But you know me. I just keep on going because you guys keep throwing in comments and we just have great conversations. Truth be told, I think Kwesi and O'Connell would like to take that step back, but the Wills won't let him. I know Kwesi wants to. Kwesi, here's the deal. Brian Poles, the guy who got the job with the Bears, he interviewed with us, and he said, we need to tear it down. He said he was going to do what I suggested. Get rid of Kirk, get rid of Kendricks, get rid of Thielen, get rid of Harrison Smith, that sort of thing. And the Wills said, nah, we don't do that. We're going to be bad for 2 years. Nah, we reload, we retool. We don't take step backs. That's why they didn't hire Poles. Kwesi comes in for an interview. He says some of the same things. Hey, this is what you need if you want to win a Super Bowl. Well, and the Will said to him, this is what you need to do if you want this job. So Kwesi said, all right, I'll take the job and I'll do it your way. And I think what Kwesi was planning on doing was after 2 years, going back to him and saying, okay, we tried it your way for 2 years. Look what we got. The same thing you've gotten for the last 18 years, except for 2 NFC championships. The Wills have had 2 NFC championship games in the 18 years they've owned this team. Please tell me how that's a good thing. It's not. Oh, well, we've only had 4 seasons where we've been 6 wins or fewer, so we're consistent. I'm like, yeah, you're consistently mediocre. Big bleeping deal. So I'll say again, I think Kwesi and O'Connell want to move on into a different direction, take that little step back, but it's the Wills who said no. And I think Kwesi's going to readdress it after this season. I think Kwesi's going to go up to the Wills if they lose to Chicago and say, this season's over. You need to allow me to trade our pending free agents so that we get some draft capital back. I doubt the Wills will go for it. And if they do, they might allow Kwesi to trade Danielle Hunter. I emphasize might. But he's not going to, the Wills will not let him trade Kirk Cousins. The Wills love Kirk Cousins because he keeps them relevant from the standpoint of mediocre. Kirk is a very good quarterback. And you want to know what about Kirk? I've said it a million times. He's not the problem. He's also not the solution. We've got so many problems on our team. And so Kirk isn't necessarily the biggest problem. He's also not the solution because he, unlike Patrick Mahomes, is not capable of overcoming roster deficiencies. That's why we always say, we got to get Kirk an offensive line. Oh, we got to fix the defense. We got to do this, so that Kirk can be successful. You can't do all of that when you have a quarterback making market value at $45 million. That's why we want a new quarterback who's only going to be making $3 million, so that you have the extra $42 million to fix all of these other holes. And then in year 2 of a new quarterback who's only making $3 million, now you've gotten rid of all your dead cap hits. So now you got $60 million to spend on top of the, what did I say? 45 million and 3. Yeah. So you got 60 million plus 42. You got $100 million and you can fix stuff. Now, again, you'll lose some of that by giving JJ his extension and Christian Darrisaw's extension. So let's be fair on that. But at the same time, why the hell you want to do the same crap over and over again is beyond me. We've all been in the mediocre side of NFL teams. We're done with it. We won a damn Super Bowl. You don't become champions by mediocre. Yeah, I agree. But that's not how the Wills see it. And again, I'm not begrudging them. I'm just calling it for what it is. I'm just telling you what it is, because that doesn't get announced on KFAN. Paul Allen's not going to come out and say, yeah, here's what the Wills want to do. They want to be mediocre all the time so that they sell out the stadium all the time and get as much money as they can. It's not sustainable. But they've sustained it for 18 years. So what Kwesi's really going to have to do is he's going to have to convince the Wills you need a new business model. You need the business model where you sacrifice 5% for a couple of years, knowing you're going to make 10% profit for 3-4 years after that. But at the end of the day, It just kind of is what it is. Yeah, I said that earlier, Darren. Shout out Darren in a bit on what's going on. The definition of insane. I said that earlier. So at whatever point you come in, you watch this show from the beginning to miss that. I said that earlier. I'm not even lying. I am not bullshitting you. I said that. But a friend of the purple is a friend of mine. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I agree with TYA. I won't ever tell somebody how to, especially the Vikes. I just want many other things. Yeah, I totally agree. I don't get why fans are scared to hit the reset button. Staying at 500 is an option, albeit a poor one. Yeah. Some of the fans in this fan base are falling into the trap of Ziggy Mark Wilf. Some fans are just like, I want them to win a Super Bowl, but I just want to be entertained, and I want my team to make the playoffs because anything can happen. How many years has this organization been around? We've been to 4 Super Bowls, all before my lifetime. In my lifetime, we've been to 5 NFC Championship games in 44 years. So every 8 to 10 years, we get close just to get our hearts broken. But we hit the reset button. That's the thing. I'll circle back to something I said in the spring when the Kirk Cousins to San Francisco rumors were happening again, where the perceived trade idea was Kirk to San Francisco for Trey Lance, their second round pick in 2024 and their first round pick in 2025. And I said, yes, I would take that deal in a heartbeat. You would have had $18.5 million dead on this salary cap, but that 28.5 that's hanging over us, it would have been gone. And you know what? Kevin O'Connell, like I said earlier, maybe he could get something out of Trey Lance that San Francisco couldn't. Highly unlikely. I get that. So you play Trey Lance this year, and if he doesn't have anything, okay, great. Then you draft a quarterback next year. And if Trey Lance is utter garbage, well, then you're in position to get one of the top 2. And if Trey Lance turns into something, okay, now you got Kirk's replacement, plus you got the second round pick next year and a first round pick the next year after that. But no, we can't trade Kirk Cousins because then we'll just be a bad team instead of a mediocre team. What's the difference? What's the difference between being a bad team and a mediocre team? They already know the Wilfs know. Hold on. Justin, they already know that the Wilfs know that they know the stadium is going to get filled. Put on a pocket product. Yes, exactly. So they shouldn't be afraid of taking a step back. When you be mediocrity, I think idiocracy. Thank you, Greg. That one was good. That was good. So that's why I said they hope to lose to it. Well, yeah, I would again. I hear what you're saying, 6-shooter, and I, by and large, I agree. But going over for 2 seasons, ooh, that's how about this? How about 2-15, where we beat the Packers both years, both times? How about 2-30? How about that? Word of the day: mediocrity, administration by the mediocre. Yeah. It's like Jade said for years, the Vikes ownership does just enough to get the fans hooked, but not enough to get all the way. Yes. And now let me be clear, Grandizer. In 2009, they spent a bucket load of money to get Brett Favre here. They absolutely did. And they spent a bucket load of money the year before to get Jared Allen here. And they spent a bucket load of money to get players like Pat Williams. So it's not that they won't spend money, but now since 2017, where we are in our last NFC Championship game, they're spending money in the wrong places. Kirk Cousins is absolutely a better quarterback than Case Keenum, but which one of them got farther? Why? Because the entire roster was constructed better. And when we signed Kirk Cousins, we had to let go of some of our roster depth. And now we've been chasing our tail for the last 3 years. I said it actually after the 2019 season. That last game of Stephon Diggs was that divisional round loss to San Francisco. I said you should blow it up right now. And then when they didn't blow it up and they started 1-5 in 2020, I'm like, okay, do you need any more evidence that this needs to be blown up? Homer? Yeah, okay. See, I feel you. Keeping Jay. Keep going, Jay. Keep going. Oh, okay. I'm trying. I'm getting a little tired, but I'll go for a little bit more. I'm going to say this one time. Preach the minister. I appreciate you, 6-shooter. I really do. Because I just don't understand. I know what you're doing right now. We'll be pulling there. Love with another interception. All right. Same score, though. Las Vegas 17-13, but Vegas got the ball. So yes, punch it in the end zone and be done with it. I'm a homer 13. Bob, you funny. You funny. Because I know that you just full of shit. Hey, Wrench Gang, get this shit out of here. Wrench Gang, get all that. Wrench Gang, get that out. I ain't trying to listen to this. Dave, we're about to see more Andrew. You know what? I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't even care because that gives us a better chance to short-term payments. See, I'm not going to say tank. I'm not going to say tank because it's not a freaking tank job to take a step back. You know, who here's ever been in a poker tournament? That's a good analogy too. When you're in a poker tournament, do you all in on every single hand? No, you don't. You get your cards dealt to you, and you either say, I'm going to stay in this hand or I'm going to fold and get out of this hand. You don't stay in every single hand. But the Wilfs are literally pushing all of their chips in and playing every hand. Then no, we're going to spend up to the limit, and we're going to spend over the limit and borrow money from future years. Dude, you can't think that way. If you got a 7 deuce offsuit, you got to fold that hand and say, I'm going to save my chips for the next hand. If I get a better one, I'll start betting again. I don't care if the river comes up 7 deuce deuce and you would have had a full house. You don't play on 7 deuce offsuit. But my point here is the Wilfs are in a poker tournament and they're trying to shove their chips in every single hand. And the other analogy is they're just trying to get into the money, which is get in the playoffs, and everything else to them is gravy. Everything else to them is gravy. Oh yeah, he did a little bit. I'm confused how the Vikings tradition of playing down to teams continues no matter who the coach is. It certainly occurs. I don't know. But you're right, too evil. They always play up and play down. And you want to know what it is? They always beat the teams they're supposed to beat. Sans won a season, and they always lose to the teams they're supposed to lose to. Sans won every season. And then when they match up with equal teams, they go 500 in those games. But anyway. PA's like fingernails across the chalkboards 10 times worse than interviews when he's calling. Oh, well. Last draw was when he interfered with 18. He said, stop picking on him. Oh, yeah. You know, I've met him a couple times. And before he got too in his head and too big a head, he was actually, I'm not saying he's not a good dude. I'm not saying that. But I can tolerate him play by play, but I can't tolerate his daily shows anymore. I haven't listened to him for a long time because it's just is what it is. You want to be a homer all the time? Fine, go be a homer all the time. I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I got to do my first Frozen North Wrench Gang, or that wrench is somebody who's labeled as an administrator that when somebody comes in here and starts putting in this bullshit, that they can block them out for me. Channel on. Oh, yeah, it was put already been there. That's why I said trade players we need draft. Zoe, I've never disagreed with you per se. I'm fully on board with your Hawkinson take now, but it's too late to trade him. You got to keep Hawkinson for at least 2 years. Otherwise, you take a massive salary cap hit. Unless you were offered a first round pick, we got to just work. We just got to work through it. We just got to. But I agree. KJ Osborne, you've been on that train for about 4 weeks. And I'm with you on that. I'm totally with you on that. I'm totally with it with Danielle Hunter. I mean, I've said the names. Danielle Hunter, Ezra Cleveland, Kirk Cousins, Harrison Smith. Get rid of them. They're not going to be back here next year. So get something in return. But I digress. Justin, I've seen you and Dave debate. He had a debate with Jay over a year ago. He always has the answer. He moves the goalpost. You want to know what's really funny? I love my guy, Dave. As I said earlier, it's like your cousin or your uncle that you always fight with, but at the end of the day, you're family and you love each other, right? He refuses to comprehend the magnitude. Yes, he can't see the forest for the trees. And if he watches this back and he talks to me about it tomorrow, I'm going to say the same thing. Dude, if you want to believe this team can win 9 to 10 games, put your money where your mouth is. I'll set the over-under at 8.5. I'll take the under for whatever amount of money you want. If you really feel that this team has a legitimate shot of winning 9 to 10 games, and bet me money. Otherwise, get out with that mess. I love you, brother, but get out of here with that mess. Stop the cap, dude. You want to know what's funny? Dave and I don't debate. We argue. If it was a debate, I wouldn't mind. But we argue too much. I digress. Scolded soup. Justin. So Justin. Oh, yeah. Yes. So tomorrow I'll get you on there, Frozen. I'll get you on that list. Shit, this team not winning 8 games. I hope not. Yeah. All right. We can kick any. Oh, yeah. You guys talking about Wrench Gang. All right. Right. Anyone but a wrench. I hope so, Skull Mafia. I really do. I really do. Not because that's what I want, because that wouldn't make me happy. But I see that gets us a path. It gives us a path to get better quicker. Because if you haven't seen enough for how many years have we just been stuck in the middle? You got to get out of the middle. You've got to get out of the middle. The middle's the worst. But again, you want to be great? You want to be middle? You want to be bad? Obviously, you want to be great. But if you're stuck in the middle, don't be afraid to be bad. Because if you are bad, so what? You've given up the middle. And sometimes, I've said this before, you have to take one step backwards to take 2 steps forward. And some people just like, no, we're not taking a step back. The Wilfs and, some of the fan base. So I get fans want to be fans. However, there comes a time. Yes, there comes a time. We way past that time, by the way. Speaking of time, for real. See, I knew I was going to get out of here in 10 minutes because y'all keep putting stuff in the chat for me. Quarterback in a rookie contract. Again, yeah, I've said that. We need to trade TJ. Again, you're going to take a massive dead cap hit. If you're going to trade him, you were trading before that. Justin, I heard Tyler and Dave earlier, first and SKOL. Yeah, they have some good takes. I do wish they would Yeah, here's the thing with Tyler and Dave. They take their shows and they put it on their podcast feed. And then they edit out the parts where they, mention people in the chat. Like, I do that too when I send them my podcast, but they just want to be able to send it. So I get it. They do read comments. They just don't do it as much as I do. But that's fine. There's 2 of them, so they can bounce stuff off. And when me and Rap go, we just like reading the chats because we enjoy having you guys here. But like I said, I get it. People do stuff differently. And again, Tyler is very, very knowledgeable. He knows 10 times more than I do. And I'm not exaggerating that. And I'm not saying that because I'm affiliated with his podcast. I'm saying, yeah, occasionally they'll take a minute and read a few comments. And that's fine. That's fine. Remembering days of, yes, I know. I know. And he wants to deny that crap, by the way. It's like, yeah, I know you're a fan, but you're throwing all your eggs in the Kirk Cousins basket. He's a good, not great quarterback. Oh, crap. Green Bay's got the ball with less than 2 minutes. How the hell did Vegas not get any points? Anyway, shit, I'm 33 and I've never been. Well, I'm 44, so I got you. I got you on that scoop. I don't know what he said. I don't know. I didn't see him. I had to get home and I had to do my other show on first. Bob, get out of here. Stop the cap. Too evil. Stop the cap. I ain't playing with you guys. Shout out NFL's youngest GM. Good to see you. I think this is the second time I see you, but if it's the first, everybody give a shout out to NFL's youngest GM. I can't remember this. I've seen him before. I can't remember if that was on Raps or it was on mine, but we give a shout out to everybody who puts the comment up. And if it's your first time in the building, I tell everybody, hey, give you a shout out. So there you go. Hit them like buttons on your way out if you didn't hit them on the way in. All right. Getting triggered over someone's stats more than the fact your team is losing means you're more of a stand of said player than the team. Sarah, you got that open invite on Rap Show on Fridays. I might need to get you on, but we'll see. I'll save you for if we're like 1-8 when I really run out of stuff to talk about. Good people, just a different type of fan. Yes, and nothing wrong with that. I agree. We're all just in a different mindset. Yes, it is a different mindset. But my problem is that we butt heads so much on the Kirk Cousins thing that neither one of us wants to move an inch. And it's just like, okay, it's exhausting. And that's why I say we're not talking about Kirk tonight. We're not talking about Kirk tonight. I said on Dave's stream, the Vikings are the Titanic, Quasi's the iceberg, and the Wilfs are the lockouts with the binoculars. That one's good, too evil. That one was good. You can't play every hand. Yeah, exactly. You may come around. He's supposed to quarterback. And I understand that too. It's just like at some point you got to demand more. Kirk ain't going to. Yeah, I get it. Kirk on the 49. Yes. But here's the thing. That would only last for 2 years because paying Kirk what he would be required to be paid would mean the 49ers have to lose some of what makes the 49ers the 49ers. They can build around Brock Purdy because he's making chicken feed. You get Kirk on that team, they got to send a couple players away. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. I blame the sports media for continued musings, long-term thinking, like they don't know how to use the term rebuild. You know what? Score North's not like that. That's why I listen to Score North. They're honest about it. They got the same opinions I do. And again, stop using the word tank, rebuild, or retool. It's just like I said, a little step back versus full-on tank. Yes, you're right. The KFAN, in particular, Paul Allen, yeah. And again, he's affiliated with the team, so he knows where his bread's buttered, and I don't begrudge him that. Of course he's going to say that. But, yeah, a lot of it's starting to turn around the other way. Sarah says Kirk stands. The Vikings are setting up Kirk to fail. They don't give an offensive line or defense. Also, Kirk stands. Kirk is underpaid. I just peep it. I got my right. Okay, cool. Apparently, we can just pay everybody. Oh, yes, the cap is a myth. And then all of a sudden and I said this. What show did I say this on? I think it was the post-game show. I think it was Yogi's show where I just went on a rant. And I said, this has been building up for 5 years because we've been doing this void year thing for 5 years and signing overpriced older veterans. And at this point, you got to pay the Pied Piper. You're going to have $60 million in dead money just between Cousins, Danielle Hunter, Harrison Smith, and Marcus Davenport. $60 million dead. So if your cap is 260 in the NFL, you're playing with 20% less money. You're playing on a $200 million cap while everybody else is playing on $260 million cap. But that's the price you pay for doing all of these extensions, all to be 7-9 and 8-9. And yes, last year was 13-4. We still lost in the first round of the playoffs. All that dead cap to be mediocre. What did Andy say? Tell me what Andy said, Bob. Put that in the chat. I know I'm behind. Did he say the cap? Oh, yes. He says the cap is a myth all the time. Oh my gosh. It drives me crazy. For somebody who has 60-some thousand followers, it's like, come on, dude. You know the cap's not a myth. Oh, you know it's not. Team can't win. Well, yes, that's true, too. Well, and I did say that earlier before you got here. It's like, you know what? JJ being out for 3 to 4 games is a blessing in disguise. We can barely win. Yes. Sarah, we can barely beat a Carolina team that got mollywopped by Detroit, and they think that we can still, compete for a playoff. We are averaging more turnovers than TDs. Yeah. We blow teams out in turnovers. That's a good one, Sarah. That's good. We are all dead, and this is yes. Carlson with 2 misses to not to start anything, but wonder if that's why Carson liked it. I don't know. Now Dave and Rap do Tuesday nights on Purple and SKOL. That's why Dave and I go from 6:30 to 7:30 because he and Rap go from 8 to about 9 Central Time. So I try to keep it okay. Let's not go too crazy because you need a break before you go on Rap. But that's funny. That's funny. Good point. 48. Remember 11. I don't know what you mean. 48. I remember once. Oh, okay. I got you. See, there you go, GM. We appreciate you. Oh, absolutely. All right, for real. I'm gonna get through these. Shout out Viking Gaming in the building. What's going on, man? You're gonna have to go back to the beginning because I'm running up on 2 hours and you just got in, but that's all right. You all showed up. That's all good. So I've been on a rant. 6 Shooter says it's not rant, it's gospel. Vikings gospel. Don't call it a rant. Well, I'll just leave that one right there. But I appreciate you. Oh boy, 55 seconds left. 3rd and 10 from the Las Vegas 30. Green Bay's got the ball. Come on, Vegas. SKOL Raiders. Come on. Let's go. Do not let that team win. Desperately seeing Minifor second move. Just I appreciate you. I ain't the only one. I am not the. I'm for damn sure not the only one. So KLC is Leonardo DiCaprio and Corcus. Oh, dinner. Oh gosh. Oh, I thought it was a headboard and not a door, but whatever. Either way, it's all facts. All right, for real. Oh, guys, I love you so much. And I don't mean that. I mean, you know what I'm saying. I love that you guys support, that you guys, after 2 hours, are still here, yucking it up with me. And I've said this with Rap, and I've said this with Dave and the other Dave and Tyler, that we just love that you guys interact with us. Could I have sat here? You see, that's why I do 4 lives a week. I used to do like 2 lives a week and maybe a third, and then I would try to cut up videos, and I'd just keep screwing up, and so I'd have like hours of editing to do, and I'm just like, uh. But that's why I like going live. That's why I go live Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, regardless of what night it is, and then of course, Sunday morning when they play on Sundays and Sunday night, other than when they play on Monday Night Football. So I have a better time going live. And if I mess up some words, I don't care. But, when I'm putting a video out there, then I kind of care. And I get more people coming through the building than I on lives than I do on videos. By the way, if anybody, okay, shameless plug of my own channel on my own live, okay, whether you are a Taylor Swift fan or not, okay, I know I'm setting y'all up. Yeah, I know we're all sick of Taylor Mania. I know. But regardless, if you are a Taylor Swift fan, check out my video. And I get it. It was the preview show. It was a preview of the Vikings against the Chiefs, which of course is expired at this point, right? But if you have any love for Taylor whatsoever, go check out that video. It's right at the top. It's the first one. Actually, no, where did I put it? Okay, you're going to have to scroll down a little bit or just go to videos and it'll be the top one there. And it says Vikings versus Chiefs, Taylor's version. I kind of emulated Chris Long when Taylor was in town this summer for her concert. He did a 5-minute sports report and he got 47 references in there. I only got 39, but if you're into Taylor, like even in the slightest, go check that one out. You'll find it funny. But anyway, Packers lose. Packers lose. Packers lose. Justin, I can't wait to call you Ice-T. Now I'm going to call you get the fuck out of here, dude. You can call me Ice-T. I've accepted that, but you better not say that. I will wrench gang your ass, and I'm not even playing. Okay, yes, I am. Thank you. I'm gonna put all those up here. SKOL Raiders win the first time you're going to hear that. Absolutely. The Titanic references are cold tonight. You are correct. Raiders win. Oh, a pick in the end zone. Oh, dang. I wish I would have watched it, but that's all right. I'd rather be here with you guys. But hey, that's all right. That's all right. Green Bay drafting. That's the thing. I don't want Green Bay to be in the number 1 spot and get Caleb Williams, or the number 2 spot to get Drake May. I said I want the Packers to win like 6 games or fewer, but just enough for them to enjoy the mediocrity like we have for a while, right? How about find somebody that looks at you? Oh my gosh. I like your shorts. For us viewers who don't have a lot of time, I gotta wear. Yeah, I get that. It's just with my work schedule, and I have my daughter 50-50 with her mom because I'm divorced. It's just a little easier to do lives. And again, I like interacting with you guys. I do a short video, short form content. Yeah, you guys put, some people put comments in there and I, react to them. But, I like the live stuff. I'm still going to do some like JJ Vikings, my surrogate nephew, Justin. I mean, every other day, Justin, when are you going to do another curmudgeon and punk? I'm like, JJ, it takes a shit ton of work to do that one. Okay. And I don't have that kind of time right now because I decided to also do Thursday nights during halftime just because I didn't want to do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then not have anything until the next Sunday. And granted, again, I still do stuff with First and SKOL. You know what? Real quick, I'm going to get the link to Vikings First and SKOL. And again, Most of you know who that is. That's Dave and Tyler and Darren. But gotta give them a shout because they had faith in me to say, hey, come on our podcast. We got this. We got you. We like you. So, all right, cool. So I put that in the chat. If you don't already subscribe to them, first off, why not? Like, they've been doing this 10 times longer than I have. But in all seriousness, also subscribe to Vikings First and SKOL on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify. Even here's the thing: if you could just subscribe on that, and even if you've already heard because you were in their live or you were in my live, after the episode downloads, swipe away. That helps us. That helps us grow. It's a little bit of beer money, not much, but that's okay. We growing it for right now, just like we grow on the channels. I'm just so blessed to have you guys. And Evil, you ain't funny. Wait for Vikings. Oh yeah. All right, Sarah. Here, you know what? Instead of doing that, Sarah, I'll just do this. I'll put the whole thing in here right for you. So you'll find it hilarious, and then tomorrow night you can come in and tell me what you think of it. So we got the Vikings First and SKOL page, and there's my Wrench Gang. Where you at? Come on, y'all. She's writing songs about. Okay, yeah. We don't need to go down there. We don't need to go there. I want to see the excuses they have. Yes, as soon as I get off this with you guys, I am gonna be turning on Packers Vent Line. I cannot wait. I only listen to Packer Vent Line when they lose. I don't listen when they win because they're unbearable. Yes, Jair was talking smack about he shut down in practice. Okay, you know what? Hold up. I just got to see this box score. What did Devontae Adams do? Show me what Devontae. 4 for 45. Okay, not much. Hey, they got the W. They got the daggone W. That's all we care about. That dude needs captions when he talk. Can't understand a word. You ain't lying. Okay, see. Well, do you really begrudge? You think I would be happy to have a song written about me, even if it was like what a jerk he was. That means I was dating her for a minute. Yeah. I ain't too. I ain't tripping. I am not tripping. All right, for real. Hit those like buttons on the way out if you didn't hit them on the way in. That's the Taylor video for Sarah, and this is Vikings First and SKOL. And like I said, hit them up both on YouTube and on iTunes or Spotify. Again, I'll be honest with you. Just get subscribed on the podcast feed and download the episodes. And if it's already something you've heard, then just swipe it. And guess what? Eventually, because I do some original content that I don't do on my YouTube page. I do cut up some of my live episodes for the podcast, but there's also times where I do complete podcast by myself that isn't aired. So yes, if you could subscribe to them, both on YouTube and your podcast aggregators. And if there's anybody in the building that's not subscribed to me, hit that subscribe button for me on the way out, pretty please. So I'm trying to grow this as best I can. But for everybody that's in the building right now, I'll just wrap it up by saying I appreciate you so very, very much. And it's very humbling, because there was times, I wondered if this was a good idea and wondered if I would be able to get people to watch. And now there's times where I got 30 people in the building. I still got 14. I know a few people left. That's fine. But I'm very, very humbled because I've been doubted a lot, both myself and otherwise. So I'm just going to leave it at that and say SKOL to the next episode. I'll be back tomorrow night, 6:30 on my channel with Dave, and it ought to be interesting. And I'll be back Thursday night. So like I said, ring that notification bell. And on occasion, it's kind of like my last curmudgeon and punk. The punk said, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. And then curmudgeon says, and ring the bell. That way, occasionally, YouTube might send you the notification. Anyway, in all seriousness, good night, everybody. I'm just going to flip these back up here. Thank you, Frozen. I appreciate you. Thank you, Scoldger Soup. Oh, that sounds other than the cabbage. I hate cabbage, but that's all right. If you like it, hey, that you do you. You're good, man. We're good to hear. Hey, appreciate you guys. In all seriousness, thank you kindly for joining me. And as always, Skol to the next episode. We will see you. Dang it, stupid spider. We will see you tomorrow night. Good night.